Welcome to the Barrel Room Podcast, your front row seat to the world of whiskey and bourbon. In every episode, we're pouring up something worth talking about. From small batch standouts to big label legends, we sip, review, and break it all down one pour at a time. We'll talk tasting notes, share stories, give the occasional review on real-life experiences, and every now and then, bring in a special guest from the industry to share a pour and a conversation. This podcast is made possible by the generous support of our sponsors, Edward Jones, Chris Ridgett, Aged Wisdom, Bold Strategies, Fallen Brothers, Crafted Spirits, Crafted in Honor, Shared in Remembrance, Maui's Liquor, Pouring Paradise one bottle at a time, the Barrel Room Bourbon Club at Maui's Liquor, United by the Poor, Good News Brewing Company, where everyone loves good news, and Grillo's Chop and Barrel, where fine whiskey meets fine meat. This episode is also brought to you by Lit Cigar Lounge in Chesterfield, Missouri, where premium cigars meet an unforgettable atmosphere. Whether you're celebrating a big moment or winding down from a long week, Lit is your sanctuary for top shelf relaxation. Inhale excellence. Embrace sophistication. Visit Lit Cigar Lounge and elevate your next experience. So pull up a chair and have a pour as we dive into this week's episode of the Barrel Room Podcast. This pour of the Barrel Room is brought to you by Edward Jones Financial Advisor, Chris Ridgett. Just like a well-aged whiskey, a solid financial plan takes time, patience, and the right guidance. Whether you're investing for the future or planning your next big barrel pick, Chris is here to help you build a strategy that fits your goals and your lifestyle. So let's raise a glass to smart decisions and visit edwardjones.com/Chris Ridgett to get started. And now let's welcome our hosts, Brian Bisking and Kenny Gales.
Welcome back to the Barrel Room Podcast. Co-host Brian Bisking here alongside co-host Kenny Gales. And as you can see, we are in a beautiful warehouse here in Western Kentucky with the infamous and famous Zach Hargis. Nice to have you again.
Well, thank y'all for having me on. This is awesome.
We had so much fn last time we were down here, man.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
It was fun.
We were just reminiscing with Jacob a minute ago, kind of about it. He wasn't here that day, unfortunately. He missed out on all the fun. But we had some good times.
We had some really good times.
Yeah, we did.
Tasted through some good whiskey and
tasted some great whiskey.
Yeah.
So let's start there. So you have revived this brand. I just learned that literally 2 seconds ago. I didn't know that from the last time, or maybe you told me and I forgot, which is probably possible.
We had too much good whiskey.
That's right.
Talk to us about reviving this brand, Silk Velvet, and as you just kind of shared the history with me.
Heck yeah.
Go
ahead.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So Silk Velvet was a pre-Prohibition brand out of Henderson, Kentucky. It was started by a guy named Colonel A.S. Winstead. And thank you, sir. Uh-huh. And but the story is kind of fun. So he didn't, grow up to be a distiller or anything else. He actually married into it. Mm-hmm. So he married a lady named America Worsham, and her family was actually a distilling family. And he married her and started in on the family business, and then after a while started getting really good at it. And he got so good at it that after a while he decided he was going to leave the family business and start his own distillery. So I wouldn't want to have been at the dinner table that night. I'm sure that caused some rifts and whatnot. But he was so good at, he started getting the reputation that his whiskey was smooth as silk. So he started up the distillery and then started the brand Silk Velvet just based off of that. But to give you kind of an idea of how good he was doing, the very first order he had out of that distillery was for 5,000 barrels to New York City.
Oh my God!
So
first order.
Holy. And we have every record of every fermenter, still the whole nine. We've got records of every piece of equipment he had. Apparently, it was one of the nicest distilleries in all of Kentucky at that time. They were really doing it up. So he started Silk Velvet in the town, and then he brought his sons into it as well. And it was really EW that really blew the brand up, and it went nationwide. We've got advertisements of, all over the country. The whiskey was a lot cheaper back then. I'll say that. We can't sell it for what they were selling it for. But yeah, so the reputation got really big. A.S., the Colonel got in some bad health. So EW took it over. And again, he was really ahead of his time in marketing and branding. And what you're seeing actually on the bottles themselves is not far off from what the bottles looked like back then pre-prohibition. So the label, the colors are all the same. Bottle was a little taller and skinnier, but overall we tried. It wasn't broke, don't fix it, right? And so that's kind of our motto on it. Unfortunately, AS got sick. EW also got sick, and AS actually passed away. And then there was a fire, and then Prohibition hit. There was a lot of fires back then. It seemed like right before Prohibition. So
Right,
I think we're past the statute of limitations on that. But but yeah, and then Prohibition hit, and it lay dormant for almost 100 years before we found it and picked it back up.
So so I got so many questions for you.
Awesome.
So like,
brain just spinning.
yes, literally, it's like, like a squirrel, just like it's like a gerbil. I mean, and was running in here. What in the world made you try to research that? Like, there had to be something that said, "I'm going to research the hell out of this, and learn all of it." Like, what was that trigger?
Well, so part of it was, being in the industry. So it was during the time where we, worked at Green River, and it was actually my dad who found it. So my dad's a big antique guy, and my whole life has been in antiques. And
see you going in an antique shop at 12 years old, taking a bottle of whiskey and going, "No more antique shops."
Yeah, and back then it was more basketball card. That was my trade-off. He'd go in the antique store and I get basketball cards.
Nice.
But
I do that with my daughter. Only it's Laffy Taffy now.
There you go. That's a lot. That's not bad.
Yeah,
It's like 80 cents, man. And then you go and Joe Maui. Maui gives her like 6 of them. I'm like, "Oh, thanks, Joe."
Oh, every time.
Every time, bro. Every time.
And,
Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, so he had, out over the years he's collected. So he opened up a antique store, and one day I walked in and he said, "Zach, you got to come find what I found." And so he brings me back, and there's these old glass bottles, says Henderson, Kentucky all over it. Of course, we're born and raised in Henderson, Kentucky, so still live there to this day. And I started looking at him, and he was like, "This was an old whiskey brand that was in this town, and then called Silk Velvet." And some of the stuff he was pulling out was just awesome. Old prescriptions, old letterheads, all kinds of old documents. And then he also had old glass and old labels on it. And as soon as I saw that baby blue and that Silk Velvet, I was like, man, this looks cool. But my dad's also a dreamer. So he's one of those guys every day that you're with him, he's got an idea. What if we do? So he's like, what if we bring this back? And, at the time it was like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. But as the days went on, it kept replaying in my head and everything else.
Now, how long ago was that?
This was 2020. So this was COVID. And so that was in the summer of 2020. And then as we started researching it and learning about the history of it, it was like, this is just way too much here.
Yeah.
So
it was a sign from God.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Like,
it was
freaking cool.
It felt like it was meant to happen. And so, obviously, good friends with Jacob and JD at the time, and went to both of them, and they're like, "Man, y'all have got to see this. This is way too cool." And I was like, the history's there, the branding's there, the everything. We just need good whiskey behind it. And fortunately, Jacob was like,
Jacob says, "I can do that."
Yeah. And JD helped with getting a lot of the the back end stuff done and all that. So and obviously my brother was involved and Dad at the time. But it kind of started though at the very beginning. When we trademarked it, it was kind of almost just like a Christmas present. Like, hey, we're going to get this. Because Dad's so into history and he was so into it. It was like, hey, we're going to give this and kind of just see what happens. And so we opened it up that Christmas morning, and I don't think we talked about anything else for the next, 6 months. It seemed like it was, what are we going to do? When are we going to do this? And all. And it took years. I mean,
sure.
That was December of 2020, and we didn't launch until December of 2024. So I mean, it was getting everything together. Of course, changing distilleries and everything else had a part to it. Designing it, getting everything going, but Once that day happened, though, we all pinched ourselves and was like, "Hey, this day actually came."
That's
And
awesome.
happened.
That's
So,
really
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
Dream come true,
Dream
right?
come
yeah.
true. Yeah,
Heck
for
yeah.
sure. So did you have to like buy the license or buy the name, or how did that process go?
Another God thing. So actually, when we researched it, the trademark, it was
Trademark?
in the hand of a big distillery, and actually they had abandoned the trademark, and so we had just right place, right time.
Yeah.
And if we would have had to buy it, I mean, we're grew up very middle class,
Sure.
everything else. No, there's no big money behind it. So if we would have had to buy and everything else,
Wouldn't have been
we
happy.
wouldn't be here today. And so it was just right place, right time. So,
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know that this single barrel is unreal. Did you change the mash bill?
So no. So this one, I think, what barrel are we tasting here today? So this is barrel 11. So this is a 75 corn, 21 rye, 4% malted barley. So it was a little different than the main mash bill we ran while we were at Green River. So just a slightly more corn, slightly less malted barley.
Okay.
But this one is
This
7
one's
years
delicious.
old and
This is good.
107 proof on this. So yeah.
Wow.
And Jacob used a little bit different yeast strain on this one. So these, man, just fruits and-
this is fantastic.
well, thank you. I
didn't try that inside. I tried this one side, which is also good, by the way, which we'll get to here in a minute, team. Everybody calm down. Sit back down, Keith.
It's like the sweet red
It
fruits, and I get
is.
that like cinnamon.
You know what it's
almost
got
like
in
a
it?
Cinnamon, like
It's got stone fruit in it.
stone fruit. I think
He remembers.
We still-
He remembers.
we still-
That's funny. Yeah.
we still bring that up every time. And, we'll be tasting in there, and it's like, that's definitely stone fruit.
I mean, but do you guys agree that it's a little bit
Yes,
wide of a
yes.
category?
It's wide. And now I will admit, and we're all here at the distillery. We love whiskey and everything
Yeah.
else, but we're not poets. So
Yeah.
some of the notes that come out, I mean, it's whatever your actual taste is,
Yeah.
right? And but yeah, for us, we're pretty simple in how we do it. So like this, I describe as just fruity. It's a lot of fruit notes in it. I get
Yeah.
a lot of orange peel in this. And then, so we kind of, go in the generic as well, but,
I get some orange peel off of it.
yeah, and that's what Ty
I got
both,
some banana off of
It's
my
definitely
the first
zest.
the
Yeah,
first
Definitely
taste.
orange zest on
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
and,
Well, and what's crazy about it, and we've talked about this on this show, I don't even know how many times. Your palate's different than my palate. It depends on what you've had to eat that day.
Yep.
It depends if you're dehydrated or not dehydrated. And you could get fucking leather shoes, and you could get sandals, and I can get flip flops. I mean, I don't know. You
Yeah.
could get all different types of flavors based off of you and what you've done that day.
yeah.
And I'll tell you, at 8:30 this morning when we had our first sample, I didn't get much of anything other than ethanol. And it was a great
Yeah.
whiskey, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
because it was fantastic last night. But
Great brand, great whiskey, just bad timing.
Bad timing. After a night of drinking and boozing and partying and
And
having a
barrel
great
strength,
time,
right
and
out
then
the
get a
get-go.
120-point barrel strength right at you at 8:30 in the morning.
That's
Was like,
jumping in the deep end.
Yeah.
right there.
woo-wee.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a tough one to go down, but
That's why we always do a control whiskey right at the beginning before. So on these barrels, like I said, these are all that Jacob made back at Green River, and we're currently making more here at Western Kentucky Distilling. And so when we're out in houses like this and trying all the old whiskey, we always have a little bit of something else to get the palate warmed up and ready to
yeah.
go.
And I had a Pepsi to warm my palate up, so it didn't exactly warm it up.
I had my truck straight to the building to record.
Yeah, we had a podcast at 8:30, so that's how that happened. But
Heck yeah.
I love the history behind that. I know we had talked briefly about the history, but you didn't go into that depth about your father last time we chatted,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think that's just
Yeah, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be here.
well, and that's why I just say is that's a God thing, right? You know, you walk into an antique shop and you find these old whiskeys that and documents
Yeah,
that you could walk in 100 antique shops
Yeah.
and not find that stuff today.
yeah,
right.
yeah.
And then for be able to grab the trademark and not have to pay for it, and then to your point, 4 years later, you're here. It's what's ironic about the whole whiskey industry, and I didn't mean to cut you off. I was talking to my cousin on the way down here today from Louisville, and I said, and I don't know this nearly as well as you probably know it, or you know it, or Jacob knows it, I'm sure, and JD knows it way better than all of us probably. it's the one industry that I can't think about that you can't walk into like a Chase Bank and say, I want a loan for $1 million. And by the way, I'm not going to pay you for 4 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just a very unique industry in that aspect. And we talked about it on our past podcast with Jacob, how just kind of getting started can sometimes be hard. Like, if you don't have people to help you.
Very capital forward.
And so your story is the same way, right?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, there's not big money behind this. This is an absolute passion project. And so for us, I started in the industry as a fan. Actually, my wife and I would go to distilleries and tour. And that was what we do for our anniversaries. I got a great wife.
You got a hell of a wife,
I got
brother.
a hell of a wife, by the way. So, I mean, we would actually, that was our fun.
Yeah.
And it was actually going on my wife's birthday. We went and toured the distillery in Owensboro at that time, OZ Tyler. And a year later, I saw a job opening for it. And told my wife that day, I'm applying. Never thought I'd get into it. And then it was, my experience and all helped me, obviously, but it was my cover letter that they said was actually what put me over the edge. And it was that passion for bourbon that I wanted to be in this industry. And so I still pinch myself just to know that I'm surrounded by this.
Right.
And then to get to where we actually have a bottle on shelves and all, I mean, it's unreal.
What did you do before that?
So in IT, actually in computers, all the technical side of that was always been kind of a side passion of mine as well. But yeah,
that's awesome.
Like I said, to get to this, and then a couple other kind of crazy notes of it. So the Colonel's family, that distillery actually turned into Peerless.
Oh, really?
So Henderson had, at the time, pre-Prohibition, you had Silk Velvet and you had Peerless right beside each other. The distillery itself, Silk Velvet, was actually the bigger of the two. They were registered Distillery 19. Peerless at the time was registered Distillery 50. So a little older, it predates about 9 years on that. And then the Colonel and his two sons ran it. It's part of the business is my dad and two sons, and then he was a Kentucky Colonel, and we're all Kentucky Colonels. So, and also I live literally 4 blocks away on the same street as the old distillery was. Wow. So there's just so many parallels of it. And then you walk into old buildings in Henderson. My house was built in 1892, and just think that Silk Velvet was probably drank in the house that I'm living in. And
it's crazy all the little nuances that come out of that.
It's just so wild.
It's like the same thing for my brand as well, because like where we're moving at, and it's in Augusta, Missouri, in our tasting room. Well, I happened to stumble across it because we interviewed the brewery that's in it currently, and he's like, I got a piece of property for you, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, sure you do. And then so because you hear that all the time, and I had been working to find properties for like 6 months, and everything's fell through. Well, anyway, long story short, he's like, no, really, I got a property for you. He's like, come out tomorrow and look at it. And I'm like, oh, okay. So 10 a.m. I go out there. This guy's a really good guy, a man of faith, operates a fantastic business. Just a really good dude overall. Yeah. And I guess long story short, we just had a family Thanksgiving. We had family over, and my wife's, I think her grandpa and somebody else built that brewery when it was Augusta Brewing before Good News. And so they were talking about it, like, you're taking over Augusta? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, we did all the concrete work. We built that entire building you're going into. And I'm like, wait a minute. So my wife's family actually built this place. And so like I'm saying, all the weird, it gives you goosebumps because all the weird nuances that come along. You're like, okay, this is meant to be then.
That's because there's a higher power, brother. And he
so
knows
I never
the whole
told
story.
you that because I just found out about it in Thanksgiving. I'm like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And they were all excited because they're like, holy cow, that's awesome to know that's staying in the family or coming back to the family, whatever type of deal. So
that's cool.
Anyway, I had to share that.
Oh, that's cool. No, I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand with what you say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's wild how things just kind of fall in line on those things. And like you said, it's a God thing as well. So,
So talk to us a little bit about the single barrel. We're going to move the small batch
Yeah.
in. But before we do that, I wanted to talk just briefly about 2024. You launched. We're sitting here in January of 2026. Talk about that road. Like, how's it been last?
Man.
Because you just told me you just took 2 weeks off and your body told you couldn't move for 2 weeks. Busy. So my assumption is you were a busy boy.
Yeah, 25 was. Thank God. I mean, it was busy as could be. But so we launched Henderson only that December of 2024. Part of it was we wanted to launch in the town that Silk Velvet was originally at. We wanted to share that launch and that relaunch, rebirth with the town and everybody that was a part of it. We have gift shops. Over the years, was funny after we got the trademark back. We went into some gift shops and there was old Silk Velvet T-shirts, and at the time we didn't even realize how much it was still a part of the town, even though I've lived there now 40 something years. You didn't really see it. It's kind of like when you buy a new car and
you see it everywhere.
And so then we started seeing signs of it coming up. So we wanted to celebrate that with the town and get everybody on board, and the town's been great, absolutely fantastic on supporting us and everything. And then we kind of just slowly started running it up. We thought, for a couple months, and then we started expanding out, and then got all the way across the state, and things started coming, and then gaining momentum. But it was really Kentucky Bourbon Festival for us that really changed the game for us. September happened, and we went in with pretty low expectations. Nobody really knew about us. Like I said, that we don't have a ton of money to push out to marketing and everything else. So it was more of let's go out there and see what people think and everything else. And fortunately for us, and I mean, hell, Jacob Call is to me the greatest distiller of his generation. I mean, the whiskey he puts out is just fantastic. So it was just getting people out there to see it and taste it. And once people started tasting it, I mean, it really blew off. So since Kentucky Bourbon Festival, we've expanded tremendously, and now we're in Tennessee, Colorado. We've got multiple states about to launch. We're on Silbach, being able to ship to 42 states now throughout the U.S.
We could get it in Missouri probably if we
Yeah.
bought it from Silbach.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we want to get it.
I know we need to get into
Miles
Missouri
later.
distributing wise.
Yeah, I'd love to get in. And so it's just been a snowball effect. It just real slow, and then just kept building momentum. And like I said, that last 2 weeks, I took the last 2 weeks off last
Good for you.
last year, and I told Brian it might be the laziest 2 weeks I've had in a long time. My body just finally was like, "Hey, you need to rest up a little bit."
Yeah.
So now we'll get ready for 26.
Well, I gotta say just one thing before we move on from this bottle.
Yeah.
Bourbon Bistro. Have you ever been there in Louisville?
Yeah.
So we had the pleasure with James and Rebecca last night, owners of that, to have dinner with them. And there was a bartender behind the bar. And I said, just pour me something. I don't care what it is. It was 6 o'clock. I've been drinking since 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Just I don't want to think anymore. Just give me
Yeah.
something. You know what the first bottle he pulled off the shelf was? It was Silk Velvet.
Wow.
And he says, I'm just getting back into the whiskey industry. I moved away for a long time, but I've been hearing people talk about this bottle, and I go, I have that bottle, and that was literally his first. That's what he did.
Wow.
And
the owner of Buzzard's Roost owns Bourbon Bistro. Which is
wow.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. And then I was telling Jacob as we just talked to him, I said to the bartender after that pour, you see that Hemingway rye on the very top shelf? I said, will you pull that down and get me 6 samples of that for everybody? And the owner of Buzzard's Roost was sitting there, because obviously he owns Bourbon Bistro. He tried it, and he's like, wow, this is good. Where is this out of? I was like, and you know the story. I hate rye. I hated rye for so long. And that one was the first rye that turned me on to rye.
Yeah.
But you want to talk about how things kind of all come full circle for that bartender who doesn't know me from Adam.
Yeah.
And he's just getting back into the industry. He just moved back here, I think he said 3 or 4 months ago. And the first bottle he grabbed was your bottle.
It's
cool.
Man, it like I said, I still pinch. I said, stories like that wasn't even registered 2 years ago. And to know that we're, there now, and
It's
people
reality,
are
yeah.
And
People are saying-
apparently people are talking about it because
Yeah.
that was the reason he grabbed it. Was
Yeah.
he said, people have been telling me this is a really good bottle. I don't really know a lot about whiskey. I mean, he was blank. I was
Well,
like,
that gives goosebumps, and like I said, I mean, that was the fun part of KBF was meeting people and getting to talk to people and whiskey people and really seeing. I'll give you a short story on. So KBF started very first night is Bourbon in the Air. It's a VIP event. We set up and we're thinking, here we go. This is our moment. We get to show people. It's a 3-hour event. The first hour we sampled one person. Second hour, I don't think we sampled a single person. Third hour, we finally got a couple of people to stop by. And we went to bed that night going, what are we doing here? Right? Friday morning comes. You see VIP hour. We get a couple of people in. And we're right beside Dark Arts too, which those people are great.
Yeah.
And they had some buff turkey, and my gosh, they had a line out the door, and we're just looking at everybody like,
Hey, we're over here.
So then general, everybody else comes in, and it's the same kind of thing, and then finally we're like, we're going to take a barrel out in the middle of the aisle, and we're just going to start, hey, come on. And so people would be like, hey, we'd be like, you want to try some whiskey? And they'd be like, well, I don't know a thing about you, but yeah, I'll try some whiskey. And so we would taste them on it. They'd be like, oh, the reactions were great. And then about a couple hours later, it went from, hey, I don't know nothing about you, but I'll try it, to, hey, I was told I have to come here.
Yeah.
And to see that kind of flip as people were doing it and getting to talk to people and real passionate about it and everything else, I mean, it was something to see. And we'll never forget that. And so, yeah, just to hear stories like that of people really taking to us and all, we just can't. We can't thank everybody
that's all.
enough.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Same boat for us. I mean, there's events where you blink and it's over.
Yeah.
Because, there's 40, 50 people in line for yours, and you're like, how is this possible?
Yeah.
Like, there's all these other vendors, you're next to like 15 stars and these big brands, and you're like, your line is, you're looking around and it's like, holy crap, how's this possible?
Yes.
And then you got other like brands that come down and like shake your hand because they're like, what's going on over here? They're like, how you doing? We're so and so. I'm like, hey, what's up? I'm like, hey, can we talk in a little bit? I'm like, I got people, I'm like, pleasure meeting you, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, all right, because you're like, holy crap, He's like, maybe I should have had more than 4 people in my tent today because this is nuts.
That was one of we learned our lesson on the last one. We had 5 of us for the whole weekend, and luckily we had Zach Macy was there and everything. And I think one day he was like 4:00 in the afternoon. He was like, have y'all eat anything yet? And
You don't.
He was like, no, we haven't. And so luckily, he's grabbing his food, and we're, hey, 1 second, running behind a tent, taking a bite, and coming back out. So we learned our lesson for 26. We're going to have a couple more people.
So when do festivals really start? When do festivals really start kicking off here in Kentucky? Why I poured the small batch.
Let's try that.
I just know we got a tasting here in about 10 minutes. So.
We're doing a single barrel pick for Fallen Brothers, so that'll be coming up here in probably March or April. We'll be launching that bad boy, so we're excited. Hopefully it's something similar to Silk Velvet. We'll definitely sell that bottle.
Is it mainly fall?
The good thing about Kentucky is, it's all year long. So, you got Bourbon Con, I think, a couple of weeks from now. You got the Bourbon Classic in February. Barbecue and Barrels in Owensboro, which is a great event they put on in I think that's May. Bourbon on the Banks, another big one.
Oh, I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
I was trying to make that barbecue one last year, but I just couldn't make it.
I highly recommend.
And for us in Missouri, obviously we don't have that. Now, I will say there's festivals throughout the year, but and you know this better than me, but they mostly all fall there's a couple in the early summer, but then most of them are late fall.
Yeah, there's one early summer, and then most of the ones are around August, September, Bourbon Heritage Month and all that. You throw them all in the back end, and it's like, for us, August, September, and October are nuts. And it's like, man, can we spread the wealth a little bit down to these lower months here to where...
Well, the ones that are doing it in January and February here, are they outside?
No,
Okay.
they are inside. And,
Yeah, okay.
I think I know one of them's in a hotel, and big convention
You know,
center.
Washington had one in December.
Washington Whiskey Festival. It's Washington Bourbon Society does that one. That is in December. They want to keep it in December. They do it in an old brewery, so it's kind of cool.
It's
So
inside.
very awesome, cool building with a lot of unique stuff. But
Yeah.
there's also Bourbon for Badges.
Oh, that's right.
So that's
coming up. We're sponsored for that, by the way.
That's February 27th. If you buy a VIP ticket for that, you will get a Fallen Brothers single barrel. That is the gift. So it'll be a cask strength bourbon, and
apparently, when you walk down the red carpet to get your picture taken, you're going to see our logo there. At least that's what I've been told.
Yep.
I don't know. We'll find out.
that'll be the Bourbon Club logo. Yes.
Yeah, the Bourbon Club logo.
So
Yeah.
that's a great event. Silent auction, a ton of different brands are there. It's just a great time, and they raise a lot of money for a lot of good causes. So
Nice.
STL Hero Network puts that on, and that's a great organization. So
Heck
we
yeah.
support them big time. So
Yeah.
So tell me when the small batch came out. And by the way, this thing got freaking a lot of oil in it.
and it's got a crazy nose.
Very viscous on these. So this is the second expression, and we launched this at Kentucky Bourbon Festival.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So the very first time anybody could get this was at that event. And so this is so our single barrel obviously are all handpicked, really what we feel the premium side of the brand.
Uh-huh.
And so this one we wanted to get a little something more that you could do an everyday drinker.
Yep.
So this is a blend of 4.5 to 6.5 years of age. This is still 107 proof, so we didn't want to skimp on we still wanted to keep in that middle proof range where we personally like it. And then this is a blend of 2 different mash bills. So when Jacob was tasked with rebuilding the distillery in Owensboro, the very first, his dad was a part of Jim Beam.
Yep.
And so the very first mash bill they ran was 78-13-9, the old Jim Beam mash bill. And so the funny part is once his dad left and kept
changed it.
helping, he
We
changed it.
just talked about it.
Yeah.
So the second mash
And
bill
he
was,
says father knows best.
Yeah, he did. That's a great mash bill.
Oh, it's a
78.
great,
mash bill.
And I mean, hell, if you learn it from Booker,
Right.
who best to learn it from?
Exactly.
So, and the second mash bill was a 70-21-9. So this is kind of my homage to Jacob, of blending his first 2 mash bills that he made at the old place.
That's cool.
Together. So, like I said, we've got some mixture of ages in there, but that that high rye with the more corn, I just think gives a
It's good.
great.
Yes.
It took us about 6 months to find this blend, and so we might extend that a little bit. Going, well, we sure, I think we need to drink a little more. But no, this one. I think what we landed on is just
It's very good.
for me great. And then also we wanted this, like I said, to get more of an affordable, and so $49.99 on this as well.
Wow, can't
And,
beat that.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's really
this
good too,
one,
by the way.
yeah, and I go depending on the day, what I've eaten and all
Yeah.
that stuff. I'm like, man, that one might be my favorite. But,
I can see how that. I mean, he does it all the time.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, this is my favorite we've released." I'm like, "You said that about the last 7 we've released, okay?" So
Yeah.
and there's still. I know what my favorite
But-
still is for you.
I do go back to one, and it was distilled by Jacob.
Mm.
It was the 95.5 rye, and it was an 8-year, and it was one of 2 left at Green River. It was OZ Tyler barrel.
Nice.
So, and it's 108 proof. It's by far the favorite one I've done.
In every firehouse, every patrol car, every ambulance, and every military unit, there's a bond forged in courage, sealed by sacrifice. At Fallen Brothers Crafted Spirits, we raise a glass to the heroes who never made it home. Crafted in honor, shared in remembrance. Each bottle of our handcrafted whiskey tells a story of bravery, of brotherhood, of lives lived in service. And with every pour, you're giving back. Because a portion of every bottle goes directly to organizations supporting the families of fallen first responders right here in our area. To the ones who answered the call, to the ones who still do, and to those we'll never forget, Fallen Brothers, Crafted Spirits. Raise one. Remember them. Available now. Drink with honor. Support with heart.
Well, and
Which one's yours though?
You know which one's mine.
Which one?
The one we picked up the same day we picked up that one.
Yeah, the double oak.
No.
Or no, I thought you double oak.
Well, I mean, the double oak is like my pick.
Oh,
but
the shine one.
The
Yes.
common shine
yeah,
one.
that was
that
heavy
would be my
red
favorite
fruit
of all
cherry.
time.
Yeah,
And that was also
that was a Jacob Cole. It was a 78-13-9.
nice.
Yeah, that would be my favorite. I mean, now the double oak is great,
128
and that's
proof,
still for sale, by the way. If you need to buy some more whiskey for late Christmas presents, check out Fallen Brothers.
It was well, it's a fantastic whiskey. It was
It
11-year
is.
double oak, and that's why I thought it was your favorite because it is a phenomenal.
It is a
bottle.
phenomenal bottle.
So it was 2 years in a secondary barrel, and it's 9 years in original barrel, obviously, but
Yeah.
it's killer. It's at 78-13-9.
Is it
So,
really the
yeah.
same mash bill
Yeah.
as the Tommy Shine?
Yep. Correct. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Well,
Different distilleries, but yes.
Yeah. Sure, but still.
Well, Jacob on the 95.5, I wasn't a rye guy. I was like you. I was not a rye guy. I was a bourbon guy. And I think Jacob makes some of the best damn rye out there. He turned me into a rye fan. I absolutely love his 95.5. It's just, it's so good.
That's our core flagship is going to be 95.5 rye. Yeah.
And what's funny is you say barrel number one is your favorite. For me, barrel number one is my favorite. And it's almost like we're trying to hit that. Part of me, I don't know if it was, sentimental reasons.
Sure.
Yeah, this is your first one out there. But every time what was fun, our year anniversary of our launch, we had all the family in and everything else. And we popped a bottle of barrel one and tasted it. And it was like, no, still my favorite.
The bar was set way high.
It was set way high. So we're striving to get there, but I mean, each one we put out, we compare it to that one and try to get it as close to that as we can. But there's something about that first release, though.
So when is the rye getting launched for Silk Velvet? Because I'm looking forward to it.
There are.
It's in the works.
I can't.
I picture a nice green label with that gold and white around it.
I don't know. You might have to say blue.
There are. I will
Do you
say
stay blue,
coming.
or do you go like a dark olive green or something with the gold and white and the pop?
I don't know.
You have that. Those
that's
three,
why I'm not in that world.
They're gonna immediately know that's Silk Velvet's rye right there, and then the other two, them are the bourbons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you could.
Yeah. I guess we can do a little breaking news here, but yeah, there might be some labels being made right now.
I love
That's
that.
awesome. That's awesome.
I do love the labels too.
Yeah.
Just the foiling,
Thank you.
everything about it just is clean, professional. You guys definitely revived it.
Well, thank
and they should be honored to see those, the family.
Thank you. We've had some messages from the Winstead family. Some even showed up at the launch, and they've been great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, they were just so ahead of their time back then, and when you see them, you instantly fall in love. What's great, I feel like, about this, what they did is, I mean, you can see 1890s, 1900s in that, but you can also see 2025, 2026, and that's a timeless design, and so it was just. It's not broke, so let's just
don't fix it.
Yeah.
Well, Jacob's motto in the last episode was "No assholes," and yours is "If it ain't broke, don't fix it."
That's right. That's right.
I think we're leaving Kentucky smarter men, Kenny,
Yes.
because of those two individuals.
Because of them, yes.
Well, and real quick before we wrap up, too, I just want to say, to both of y'all, what y'all are doing too with the brand and giving back and everything else. I just think it's commendable, and I've been following y'all, from afar. And
what's funny is I follow you guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say we follow you too.
It's like constant,
Yeah. And so I just love what y'all are doing and giving back and everything else. And dude, if of course this is your audience, but if you haven't picked up Fallen Brothers, I mean, you couldn't pick up a whiskey from two better guys.
Oh, well, thank you.
Appreciate that for sure.
Well, as Kenny said in the last episode, and I tell him this every day, my whole motto is we're just people helping people.
Yeah.
And in return, those people help us.
Yeah.
You know what I
a
mean?
great
And
motto.
that's been the fun part about this journey. It's my wife thinks that we're both crazy, and his wife probably thinks we're both crazy, and we probably are both crazy. All right, but
Yes.
I would also say, like my 40th birthday is this year, his 10-year wedding anniversary is this year. and the four of us are going on a trip, and guess where we're coming? Kentucky.
Nice.
On our,
Nice.
you know, so
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it becomes a part of you
Yeah.
in a certain way, and frankly, I'm living on his coattails. I mean, he's the one that really took this, and I just have been there to kind of help when and where I can, and take care of all the technical side, because he barely knows how to answer his phone, let alone how to edit a podcast. But it's been fun. It's been fun.
There's a lot of moving parts with the brand, so yes, your phone sometimes sits over here, and it's like next thing you know, shit, I actually got to look at this thing, you know, and it's like 5 hours later, you know.
Just a quick funny story. We obviously have an email for the Bourbon Club, and the other night it was like, "Oh, you've been kicked out. You need to sign in." So I go to sign in, and it was like, "We sent you a 6-digit code." I was like, "I didn't get no 6-digit code." So I tried again, and 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 finally it's like, "You've been locked out." I'm like, "Fuck." So I go to bed. I'm thinking I've been hacked. I think somebody's went into Gmail or to whatever it is and changed the phone number, and I'm not getting this stuff.
Good.
Well, like 10:15, I roll over, I look at my phone, and I go, "What's Kenny's phone number?" I look at it. It ends in the same digits that Gmail has been saying. I text him. I said, "Have you been getting Gmail notifications of our email?" He goes, "Yeah. Why?"
I'm at the firehouse. I don't know. I just saw this shit going through. I'm like, what's going on? Why is my Gmail sending me fucking Google?
So the next night, I try again. I'm like, "Hey, send me that code." 35 minutes later, here it is. I'm like, "It's expired, bud. Like, we'll deal with it another day."
For
You know,
another
but
time.
it just, you know, sometimes it's those things that just make us each laugh and think back and be like, "You remember that time when you fucking locked me out of my own email address?" You know,
I had no idea.
Yeah.
But you know, I know you have stories like that with the guys here, and
Very much so.
and it's just as I've said probably, I don't know how many times in here you've said it. You've probably, like, it's much more than whiskey. It's about friendship, fellowship. I would have never met you or Zach or Jacob or any of those guys without this and him.
Well, that's a great point, because
And you get to meet people that become friends.
just lifelong. And I think that's the special thing about Western Kentucky Distilling Company. We have a core group that has been together now for a very long time, since the OZ Tyler days. And that's the part that you wait. I love bourbon. I love the brand and everything else. But the highlight for me is actually
100%.
coming together with
Which
the
is
guys
why I
we've
love
been
his
working
brand so
for
much.
forever. Yeah.
Right? That's why half of St. Louis loves his brand so much.
Yeah.
It's not, yes, the juice has to be good.
Yes, 100%.
But it's the mission behind it. It's the friendship behind it. It's the community behind it. I always, like, our tagline of our bourbon club is, "We're united by the poor."
Mhm.
And it's a community that we're just trying to build in St. Louis of like-minded people who want to just open their friendship up to more people and help support people helping people.
Yeah.
And that's all we've been trying to do since the day we started this podcast, since the day we started the bourbon club.
It's to me, I always say it's bigger than whiskey.
Yeah.
Like, you know, whiskey just brings it all together. There's a passion for it, and you know, it's a subsidiary to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
You know, you have a goal and a mission in mind, and thankfully you get to utilize what you love to do to make that mission happen. So the idea is to grow the family, and that's why we're here with you guys, is because it's family oriented. Like you said, you guys have been together for a long time.
Yeah.
And honestly, I wouldn't be over here if it wasn't for Zach Macy.
Yeah.
Met Zach Macy, and immediately I knew his character, his personality, we aligned. And so I knew, I was like, this is the guy I'm going to work for. Communicated very well. It was always, and then next thing you know,
He's here.
he's here. and the funny, so I think we talked about
did
this.
talk
The
about
funny
it.
thing
Yeah.
was, I had already reached out to you guys like 2 weeks prior to him. So he already
You
found
were
out
in the
that-
meeting with Jacob Call when
Yeah.
we first chatted.
Yep.
He found out well, he's like, so let me check here. So we had the meeting, and I think
Jacob asked a question.
Jacob asked a question, and Zach's like, well, I actually can't tell you yet
What I'm doing.
what I'm doing, but there's something in the works. And so, and then he made a hint. Like, I was like, actually, I'm going, I think, to visit Western Kentucky, like following Tuesday, or it was I was coming to visit, and he's like, well, actually, I might see you. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here?
It was like the whole world just came back together, and it was like,
and I was like, you
because
gotta be shitting me.
I will tell you, and we've said this a million times, the experience we had with Zach is the reason we're here, right? And we left Owensboro that week, and I was like, dude, that guy's legit. Like, we got to work around him, and we did. and we still do. You know,
But then it was Zach that told me the team that got brought over as well, and like
Yeah.
Jacob Call, 8th generation distiller, like this whole history,
Well,
and I'm
and-
like legacy. I'm like, holy shit, okay.
Well,
this is
and-
this is all lining up the direction that my brand sees the future, and this is it. Like this is what we're looking for.
and it's not, and we haven't pooped away from Green River,
Right.
We've still done business with him.
Yeah.
Aaron Harris is a great guy.
Aaron's
I
great.
mean, fantastic guy.
Well, they still great juice there.
Yeah.
Well, and so I stuck around for a year after the buyout, so I got to meet, work with Aaron and all those. Those are phenomenal guys. What they'll end up doing is great. I will say all the juice you're still getting out of there
It's still probably
is
Jacob's.
still Jacob, and
Yeah.
and not to say that that's going to be any
Better
any
or worse,
difference
right,
or
yeah.
nothing like that. But I mean that is so. If you've enjoyed what's coming out of there, I mean that is
You're gonna enjoy
that
what's
is
coming
still
out of
Jacob.
here.
and
It's
you
true.
will enjoy what's coming
Yeah.
out of here. And then the other thing on Zach too. I mean Zach was, I think, one of the first people when I started out
Yeah.
at that brought me in, and we took a trip to Charleston. I think bonded over that. So just great people. But that's the. I mean, since everybody that is here was there the day I first started walking in. So, and like I say, it's just a family atmosphere. But the fun part about bourbon is, I think it's the American spirit, right?
Yep.
But the biggest thing about it is it brings people together,
Yep.
and we share in this. We even if you're not in the industry, you bring the family or you bring the friends over, you pop a bottle
Yep.
open, you start sitting by the table, pouring, talking about it, and then before you know it, the bonds are closer and everything else. So it's an American spirit, but I think it's what brings us together. So
It is.
yeah,
for sure.
I just love everybody.
For sure.
I think that's a great note to end on.
I was going to say, on behalf of the Barrel Room Podcast and the Barrel Room Bourbon Club, cheers to you, my friend. Thank you for very
Thank you.
much.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Remember to like, follow, and share this. We'll see you guys again in 2 weeks. Shout out to all our sponsors. We couldn't do it without you. We appreciate you. Thank you. And see you guys in 2 weeks. Cheers.